Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another session. We have spoken enough about creating optimum campaigns. We have spoken about how do you optimize your campaigns. We have spoken about how do you identify keywords. We have spoken about a lot of different aspects and elements of digital marketing, especially Google Ads when it came to paid advertising. But there's this one framework which always kept me in check to see if the effort that I'm investing is worth investing or am I doing things in the right time. Because timing is more important than ever. Because when you're creating a campaign, it makes more sense for you to focus on on doing things at the right time. When you start off your campaigns, it's not worth your time to start thinking about conversions at that point in time because your campaign may fall flat if you're only looking at conversions even before the campaign has launched. Walk before you run is an analogy that I would like to put it across as, because until your campaign has stabilized, gathered all the data, when you have relevant data, that is when you can go ahead and start looking at conversions. So, kind of simple to understand, but this is the framework that always has kept me in check to see if I'm doing things the right way and also at the right time. So, I call this framework as the reach, relevance, and perform. I call this approach as reach, relevance, and performance approach because when you're running paid ads, especially on platforms like Google, you cannot go wrong with either of these three elements of the blueprint that I'm talking about, which is reach, relevance, and performance. So, without getting much delay, I hope you, whether irrespective of the size of the business that you are in, irrespective of the role in your digital marketing journey you're at, if you are running paid campaigns, this is the blueprint and this is the framework that you would want to keep at the back of your mind because you cannot go wrong with this. So let's go ahead and see what I have in store for you. So imagine you're selling hot dogs. Imagine we're talking about a business where I'm trying to sell hot dogs, right? When I'm trying to sell hot dogs, you need to understand that I have to make sure that I get enough people to be able to make good return on my investment and to call it a viable business at the end of the day. So what I need to do is I need to make sure that I have enough audiences in check where the size of the audience actually matters because that will decide the kind of profits that I will make at the end of the day. So if I apply this blueprint or the framework of reach, relevance, and performance to this business where I'm trying to sell hot dogs online, let's see what that, or even offline, because we're trying to understand the concept here. So this is exactly how it works. I'm trying to sell hot dogs and I need to, if I apply the same blueprint, reach, relevance, and performance. So on the left hand side, you see reach, which is reach out to audiences at scale. If you have the capability of making 100 hot dogs in a day, you don't want to just reach out to 5 people, which means it could mean that you need to set up a shop at a place where there's enough crowd, or if you're doing it online, you need to make sure that you have enough customers before you actually go out to sell. So keeping that in mind, so the reach aspect justifies the size of the audiences. How big is my audience? Do I want to go ahead and target those niched out audiences, or do I need to cast a wider net? When you cast a wider net, you may go wrong where you start showing your ads to irrelevant audiences. So that is where the second part of the equation or the framework comes into picture, which is the relevance part of it. When you speak about reach, you're talking about, do I have enough audiences that I can reach out to at scale? And are these audiences relevant enough? Because I don't want to be selling hot dogs at a time where people don't normally eat, or to people who may not be interested in my product. So, is the audience relevant? Is the second question that you would want to ask yourself. When you have the reach and relevance aspects justified, yes, you have enough audiences that you can target at scale. Yes, the audience is relevant. Then comes the picture, am I optimizing my performance at same stage? Because if you are selling hot dogs, you need to set up your step. You need to have a system in place where you cannot have more people wait. You cannot have people crowd at your station where you're unable to serve the orders. So is your performance optimized? Do you have the enough equipment? Do you have enough staff? Do you have enough raw material? Do you have enough everything that can make this a seamless journey is what I'm talking about. So the next thing I would want to understand is I've kept it relatively simple. And the next thing that I would want to understand is if you apply the same thing to in a Google Ads perspective, because that is what the whole discussion is about, right? So if you apply the whole thing to a Google Ads part, the Google Ads discussion, so this is how it looks like. Now you are selling hot dogs. How does your reach aspect of the framework look like? Reach. Am I reaching a wider audience? Yes, when you and if you apply this to a Google Ads framework, are you reaching out? Do you have enough keywords? Do you have right placements? Do you have enough audience segments? Are you focusing on the right kind of networks, whether it is a search network or a display network? So these are or all the things. These are all the things that will make sure that you are focusing and optimizing on the reach aspect of your Google Ads campaign. Now you need to have enough keywords. You need to have enough converting key. You need to have enough long tail keywords. You need to have a lot of keyword variations that you would not have included otherwise. You need to focus on the right set of networks. If you have a really good product which can get which can sell like wildfire, you need to make sure you're leveraging on the right network, in this case YouTube network, for example. So do you have these things in place? And once you have these things in place, the ultimate point when it comes to reach aspect of things is, are you able to expand it further and have a wider set of audiences? So you need to have these audiences at scale, because you don't want to have a product and then you don't want to search for your customers, right? So you need to have a reach mechanism in place before you could actually go out there and sell. The next thing that I would want to talk about is, I have enough audiences at scale. Now, are these audiences relevant? How do you check the relevance aspect of it with respect to the Google Ads, with respect to a Google Ads campaign? Now, the interest matching. Are the behaviors, am I able to map the behaviors of people? Have I looked at all those keyword variations that people are looking for? What could make my keywords more relevant? What is the quality score of these keywords, right? Now, are these keywords conversion-oriented keywords or generic keywords? Now, all these things will go into deciding whether you have a relevant audience or not, whether you have enough relevance or not. Now, what is a CTR? This makes more important. This makes more sense because your ads are shown to everybody, but there are hardly any people clicking on it, which means that there is something missing on the relevancy aspect of things here. So, how is my CTR? Now, how is my impression share, for example? Because that's where you gather, you make sure that is how you make sure your ads are shown to a lot of audiences who are relevant. If they are relevant, your CTRs would shoot up, because because they would engage with your ads. Now, what is the ad strength? You can look at your recommendations tab and see if you're missing out on anything. You can have enough negative keywords, because that is where you will add a lot of you will get a lot of you can get rid of a lot of unwanted things, which means that relevance will go up. Are you making use of site links? Are you using extensions? Are you looking at things in terms of having exclusions, excluding audiences that don't matter to you? These are all the ways your relevance can go up, right? So now that you have relevance and reach set, now it's time to look at performance at each stage of your optimization journey. Because performance not only means increasing the number of sales, conversions, etc., it also means that you are optimizing in terms of the cost. You're not spending so much that your ROI is not justified. That's a very sad situation, right? So if you look at the performance aspect of it, how are your conversions? Are you leveraging remarketing? Is your ROI justified? What is the ROI that you're able to get out of your campaigns? What are the spends versus conversions versus sale versus conversion value, right? Then you have, are your bids optimized, or your cost optimized? Then how far are you in the attribution game? Are you attributing your clicks properly? So all these things come under the performance aspect of things. So basically, these are the three things on if your Google Ads is set on a tripod, these are all the three legs that you would want to balance, which is reach, relevance, and performance, right? Now, if you look at layman terms, where reach is, am I having enough audiences that I could sell my hot dogs to? Relevance is, are these people hungry? Am I trying to push the product to people who are not hungry? It wouldn't make sense, right? So if I have set up a hot dog store or a station right outside a fancy restaurant in the middle of New York, I don't think it'll make sense, because there is no relevance aspect there, right? Then you have performance. Can I maximize the order value? Can I sell them something else along with the hot dog? Can I sell a can of Coke maybe? Or how do I maximize the order value? Can I sell fries along with this? So this is exactly how you can look at each of these things individually, and then kind of piece them together to make sure you have a foolproof framework, which is the reach, relevance, and performance framework when you speak about Google Ads. I will be talking about more case studies with respect to what these guys have done with respect to each of these reach, relevance, and performance aspects. And I think this is a good place for you to keep that in mind, irrespective of where you are in your Google Ads journey, or whichever role that you're at when you're working with paid ads, this framework can never go wrong. Thank you so much. My name is Casey. Until next time. Ciao.